All right, ladies and gentlemen, getting going in just about one more minute, so stay tuned. Going into a little bit about how the sky is a bit of a clock, personal sovereignty, and a little bit more. So stay tuned. We'll get started in just about 1 minute. All right, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're getting started in just a few seconds. Let people get on board. We're talking about the sky clock. We're talking about personal sovereignty. We are talking about personal awareness, decoding your pain, and transformation. So stay tuned. Get started in just a second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Dr. Kevin, and yes, it is right. We are talking Transformation Tuesday, and yes, it is Monday evening. And we're going to talk about why I'm doing it tonight, and it's not just because of time and energy. However, that's important. We're talking about a more official version of the clock, time. We're talking about cycles of time. We're talking about how do we used to measure time. So bear with me. I'm going to check the chat. And I'm going to say hello real quick. If you can hear me, please say, yes, I can. Give me a thumbs up. Like the video. What that does, it gets people connected. It gets people coming in. So if you've been tuned in before, you know I deliver good information. Hit the like button right now. Give me a few hearts. Give me a few thumbs up. And that brings people into the message to help them transform, to help them get information of how to transform. I'm checking the levels. Make sure everything's coming through okay. I'm gonna turn up that a little bit. So let me bring you in here, and first a little bit of a how do I say? I don't want to call it confession. However, I've been a little bit focused on some other things, and so Tuesday nights for me had to get shifted back, and I wasn't able to go live for the last like 5 or 6 weeks with Transformation Tuesday. However, shifting gears, rearranging a few things, and we are back live. And actually, I've been wanting to do this for quite some time now, and really what happens, and check this out, Tuesday literally starts today, meaning in just a few moments as the sun starts to go down, and it'll get earlier and earlier as we get further into the year, the real day may just begin soon as night falls. Now bear with me as I check in a few things. Let me tell you what I am actually talking about. So here we go. Has to do with this idea right here. It's time for change. Now, I'm going to refer to a few different channels, a few different people, so this is not my information. However, I've come to all these conclusions reaching outside the people I'm going to refer you to. Now, this is just an image I took that the sky is a clock. And literally, when you look up at the stars, you can, just like any study, dive in a lot deeper. And for people who are new to me, what I talk about is how the body is affected by the external environment. There's a study in scientific literature. It's called epigenetics. Okay, if you never heard of that term, boy, that's a deep dive. However, what this is, the simple way of describing it is that, sorry, I want to check the volume, make sure I'm coming in loud and clear and crisp. But the simple thing is that we are affected by outside forces, just like temperature. If it's hot, it's like 100 degrees outside and I start going for a run, I'm going to sweat. We have effects by the moon, we have effects by the sun, and other planets. We have a gravitational electromagnetic and gravitational effects from these planets to the sun and to the earth. And there's a lot of information to go into that topic. But however, what you need to understand is that our sky is a clock, and that we are affected by things outside of our physical body, known as our environment. And that is the study of epigenetics. So let's move on, okay? Now, this is from space.com, right? I don't know if it's a NASA website, I believe, but maybe not, but it's about space.com. So let's take a little zoom in here. I think we have the right slide. There it is. For stargazers, the Big Dipper is a celestial compass, clock, calendar, and ruler. And this article goes into how to use it. If anyone wants this article, well, I'll drop that link. Maybe I'll drop that link a little bit later. But however, this is an official headline, and it was released February 11th, 2020. And here's part of my own personal commentary is this. This information has been well known for many, many years, and I haven't really done a deep dive as far as what people, what organizations, what magazines have talked about this topic. And I'm sure the inner workings of astronomy and astrology probably have. However, with that being said, ancients of all times, every king, I mean, basically every king you've ever heard of, maybe it's just movies, but when I look into that thing, everyone had an astrologer. Everyone's looking at the timing and the rhythm of the stars. And herbalism, I'll say it this way, in phytotherapeutics, we know that the quality of the nutrients you can get from the plants is affected by the time of the day, the time of the year that you are plucking that for your creation. So why is this important? Well, we'll go into that in a few minutes, but I want to give you a few resources about who I connect to. This person, David Palmer here, the Leo King, boy, his knowledge is hard to rival. And he has the best explanation I've seen, the most detailed work I've seen about understanding the cycles of time and when these interactions are occurring. Meaning, how does today relate to years ago, and what year and what day, and how that impacts you now. It's beautiful. Because when you can begin to see how something that you started last new moon comes to completion on the next new moon, or some component of it is move forward in your life, or when a planet, and everyone, people that talk about these things that are interested in Mercury, when Mercury goes retrograde, there's a lot of things that are obvious for people, and it's not the world is ending kind of thing. It's not everything's going wrong. It's not don't make decisions. However, there's information that is gained from understanding when these planets are shifting directions, just like a clock. Here and here. Now let's continue. There's an argument, there's a concern in the world of looking at the stars, because there's more than one system of interpretation. And this is why I like this gentleman right here. His name is Athen, masteringthezodiac.com. And essentially here, there's a term, and I may butcher it, but it's called sidereal. And that term means the accurate position of the stars. So this form of astrology is based on that idea. Now, why am I talking about this today? Yes, I am talking about Transformation Tuesday because we're talking astrology, and that is correlated with different parts of the physical body. Electromagnetics. We are electrical beings. If you open the book that I wrote to page, I believe 21, 22. Well, that's the wrong. Well, yeah, this is right. It gets into the idea of it, and the idea is I show a few pictures of the. Oh, here it is, page 50. I was off on that one. But see that image right there? There's a cap with all kinds of electrodes on it, and down there is a heart monitor with a bunch of electrodes around the chest. We are measuring the electromagnetic nature of the heart and the brain. We have this in our Western medical sciences. We do nerve conduction tests. We do MRIs, magnetic resonance imaging. We X-ray. We do all these different forms of tests. And now there's brainwave scans and all kinds of wonderful and interesting technology that can measure bacteria and viruses and chakras and the frequencies and these electronic features that we can measure to understand what is going on within the body. The human body is electromagnetic, and the celestial bodies, these things that influence migration patterns, that influence tidal patterns, boy, we are symbiotic with our environment. Hence the study, bringing it full circle to epigenetics, the study of how our environmental factors influence our physical body and our health and our genetic expression. Yes, your genes, your genetic expression is all a component of what can be affected. I mean, I didn't pull any research up for you. However, I know there's science that talks about how yes, exercise and fitness do impact our genetic expression of a healthy life. Proper diet, proper nutrients, proper cleanliness of toxins out of the system, that turns on all kinds of functions for health. What I'm talking about is the study of psychoneuroimmunology. Did I say that right? I believe I did. Psychoneuroimmunology, meaning our position of our body, our movement of our body, our mental thinking patterns, the food that we eat, all affects our immune system. Boy, what a hot topic today, isn't it? Now, with that, I want to shift away from health for a minute because I started showing you the sky clock just a few seconds ago. I'm going to show you an artist rendition. Okay, this is a YouTube, someone's cover of a YouTube video, and there's, any name of the star pattern you can see, a constellation, has an association with different mindsets, have its association with different body parts, and there's reasons for that. We can go in traditional Chinese medicine and talk about how all that works together, Ayurvedic medicine, how that all works together. There's a steep and deep literature. But why am I talking about it now, and why is it so relevant to today? And I'm going to step out there into a topic that got me into some social media jail a little bit ago, but has to do with our news cycle. Because talk about something in our environment affecting us. Holy moly. Now, there's a channel I love, and it's so interesting that many of the channels I love began to cross communicate and interview each other, and I didn't know that they knew each other. But this is beautiful here. This is one of my favorite channels. His name is, I'll show you here, MartyLeads33.com, MartyLeavesLive.com on YouTube. However, here's what I want you to understand about the news cycle. Before I get to that slide, ooh, that's a little deep. Before I get to that slide, our news cycle. It is interesting as I've learned how to observe and see the patterns of the sky clock and how, and I'll give credit to Crow 777 on that term, the sky clock. However, with that being said, there are events that play out in our society. Now, are they just a natural effect of the alignments? Yes, some of that is. And do I believe that there's people that are in charge of our society, that have influence over our society, that know exactly the patterns, they know exactly the energy, they know exactly what to do for the greatest advantage of their own agenda? But yes, I do believe they have pretty smart people lining things up. So with that being said, let's lead into this slide right here. The further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those that speak it. George Orwell, an author, 1984. Not the year 1984, the book. Also known as, it's also a movie. Next quote: It's easier to fool someone than to convince them they've been fooled. That's Mark Twain. William Casey, former director of the CIA, will know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. And this last one right here. The American people don't believe anything until they see it on TV. That's Richard Nixon. Wow, that's a mouthful. And the reason I'm going to talk about this is because, well, I've been working on a solution. Because there's a lot of false information. There's a lot of information that affects us. It affected me significantly. And I'm sure many of us have our own stories of news and emotions and impact and health and blah, 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 blah. However, how do we get out of the muck and mire, the left and right? And I want to be mindful, just left and right. There's more than two options, ladies and gentlemen. And this is a trap I fell into, that there's only two options. I mean, literally, chocolate or vanilla, up or down, left or right. What about the middle? The middle way. Some famous leaders in our society over time that we still honor very deeply and profoundly nowadays talk about the middle way. I digress. I'm not going to talk about that real quick. So, moving forward, any topic that one wants to talk about, whether it's wine, whether it's the best food, whether it's the best movie, whether it's the best anything, we must begin to go back to the origins of how we formulate our desires, our choices, our preferences. And it has to do with the idea of concepts and precepts. That's not quite centered, but you get the idea there. Concepts and precepts. These are the things that formulate your beliefs, your perceptions, your expectations, your choices, your decisions. I didn't put in here, but your preferences. In fact, you know what? Let's do that right now. So profound. And your responses and the consequences of those choices. Let's bring it over here. Okay. So our concepts and our precepts. And it's important that we know, we honor that we have our own individual tastes, we have our own individual desires, we have our own individual visions in life and targets in life and all these things. And that's important to have, and that's important to own who you are. And we can talk more about that later. In the book I wrote, Decode Your Pain, that's about the internal language, beginning to understand what your body is telling you. Okay, there's things that you like, that when you're near something that's opposite of that, you get a funny feeling. Now, sometimes though, we believe that we know our tastes, our desires, our beliefs, and how and I pose you, and I invite you to consider, how did you come by those beliefs? There's a very interesting story I heard. It's in the book called Laws of Success, and this is actually something I'm teaching with a friend of mine, Coach Ryan, and that's a program we call Winning in Every Situation that leads to, a webinar, Winning in Every Situation that leads to another program. But the point is this. There's a story in the book that asks a very prominent political individual about how he became Republican, how he became Democrat, how he became independent. And I can say any name of any political party, and the person responded, "Well, I learned it from my daddy." And this is a quote that was like from the 1930s, so the language is kind of funny. But however, this prominent individual, when asked, how did he come by his beliefs? How did he come by his stance? How did he become by what he is moving forward in life? And he goes, he learned it from his father. Now, many wonderful things are taught by many wonderful men. And many wonderful things are taught by many wonderful women. However, if we never questioned what we were taught, if we never questioned the origin of that, well then, are we moving something along? Are we enacting in something? Are we putting our energy into something that we, upon deeper investigation, may not ever back, may not ever stand for, may not ever be in alignment with? It's possible. It's possible. I know there's things in the topic of the world stage that I would agree with years ago with one party. Now that same party is opposite. It's a little bit confusing. It's a little bit confusing. It's real, people. Confusion. And I will remind everybody of these quotes right here. It's easier to fool someone than to convince them they've been fooled. I have to zoom out to see this one here. The further society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those that speak it. I talk about people getting attacked today. There is an answer of love. I'm going to show you about that love answer in just a moment. Oh, flying wrong. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. And so, yes, these things here I talked about a second ago, the concepts and the precepts, which gives us our beliefs, our perceptions, our expectations, choices, decisions, preferences, responses, and consequences, and more. Well, what happens? It's what you create, get, and experience in life. So that's what I'm talking about here. This is why it's important for me to talk about it, because what I'm actively engaged in doing is helping people reclaim their personal power in life, to reclaim awareness of how to think and ask appropriately, how to know when they need to test something, how to determine, how to have, what's the word I'm looking for? By my goodness. Well, an insight about what is best for yourself and what is in alignment with where your heart needs to be, your authentic self. Discernment is the word I was looking for. And so I have a video here I want to share with you. Let me pull it right up. That's not the right button. Here's the right button. All right, so bear with me. Here we go. Good morning, friends. Thanks for checking it out. I hope that you're having a great day. I hope that you're finding the positive. I hope you're finding the love that's available out there right here, right now. Yes, even in the midst of everything else going on in the world. So that's the beauty. The beauty is that there's this available energy, and you have to, and don't get me wrong, you don't have to do anything, all right? But what I can recommend and what I've seen as an automatic result of nourishing yourself a little bit each and every day, mind, body, spirit, and soul, there's a return back to you so that then you can rise to do more, accomplish more, be more, do more. It doesn't necessarily mean more in the sense of bigger is better, more in the sense of you can keep the strength, the stability, the resilience, the resolve, the determination, the willpower to see your visions to completion. So often we get close. I'm going to stop right there because that video is available. And where is that video available? It is available right here. Let me just do this because I dropped a link. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. But this is the program I have. It's open access. Anyone can get in there. And it's called 4 Foundations. And this is literally where I share all my best information in the public way, in the free way, in an open way that you can have resources to. So I'm going to drop that link right now. Take advantage, get on board, put your email address in there, watch the rest of the video because I love what I had to say there. And I love the message that 4 Foundations is. It's about how do you, in busy life, in chaotic life, how do you nourish yourself? Just like the oxygen mask scenario. How do you take what's going on around us and be in this world, yet without getting caught up in it? And this is what 4 Foundations is all about. It's about how do you keep your ship upright in the storms that are out there. And the reason I'm doing this, and I believe I said at the end of this video, maybe not, but I'll talk about it right now, is called the rising tide principle. And I rise by helping others become raised. Is that the right way of saying it? Maybe not, maybe it is. So the whole point is, though, it's the golden rule. When you help somebody else, it comes back full circle. So it's one of those universal laws, a natural law. People call it karma, and karma works both in positive and negative ways. People call it law of attraction. Well, it's not just as simple as that. But yes, you do attract things. So if you keep putting out good things, good things can come back. But also, you'll be tested. So when you put out good things, somebody nasty may come along to test you. Are you really able to deliver that goodness as many ways as possible? So I don't know what you want in life. I know what I want in life. I'm getting more clear on what I want in life each and every day. So what we create and what we get and what we experience in life is based right here on our perceptions and concepts. It really is. So what do I have? What is the solution for all this? This is what I created. The 4 Foundations, you can see it here on the right side. And now we're taking it to the next level. I've been working with these gentlemen for the last few weeks, and I've been hearing about their program for more than a year now, and it's called Fit 545. And there's a link in the description that's to take you to a whole page and a walkthrough video that I did regarding the program. But here's what it is right here. It's a full innate transformation program. It's a lifestyle and wellness program that's designed to help people make personal transformation in their health and well-being. That's too close. All right, here we go. So I know this is a scientifically based wellness program that helps people move and think and feel better by incorporating a few simple strategies with lots of resources, and is an online program. Now, the link is also in the description. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to drop that right into the chat as well for everybody. Take that look at that as well. I'm making a number of offers because, well, we need help. I need help. You need help. It's called teamwork. And this is community teamwork I'm talking about. So the community, what is the community? It's the human race, ladies and gentlemen. The human race. So that I'm going to end with that as far as giving you insights about the solutions to helping us manage the challenges, the dramas, and I'm going to end on this amazing. Well, where did I put it? I had an amazing. I saw an amazing post today. It's about reminding the world of what it is, and the world is made of love. And it sounds like it could be a catchy cliche, and it has been used that way, but there is legitimate truth to that. When one does a real study of the topic of love and what that topic is, it's not just about a romantic partner, although it's part of it. It's not just about friendship. It's not just about business. It's not just about customers. It's not just about having fun. And by all means, there's some wonderful definitions, wonderful components that I believe have been straight out of our Western consciousness about what love is, what happiness is. I digress. So if you want more that type of information, go to drkevingy.com. Get connected on one of those lists, one of the programs, one of the offers. In fact, definitely get into the 4 Foundations group. This is where I go live weekly. In fact, I'm live right there, right now, talking a little bit more about what this is. And we're going to be doing a live 21-day trial in the very, very near future. Getting all the, look, there's a lot of things to accomplish. And I know that your life's busy too, and trying to figure out what's right in your life and doing that what's right in your life, well, I'm figuring that as well. We are all in the same temperature, so to speak. This is why, and I'm going to bring it right back to the beginning. This is why we're talking about the sky clock. The story goes, if I have a pond and I have all, it's like 15 feet deep, we'll say, and there's different kinds of fish at different levels. If I change each temperature, if I change the temperature or the overall temperature of the pond, every fish in that ecosystem has to adapt to that change of temperature. Or if it can adapt, it will survive as long as it can, and ultimately it will pass. It will transition to the other side. It will die. And it's a normal function and feature of life, of a life cycle. If it can adapt to stress, well, it goes as long as it can, and then it dies. And think about someone who's stuck in a desert with no water. They can adapt. They can find water. If they have enough knowledge of how to do that, they can adapt and just if they have no water, well, there's a limitation of that ability to adapt, and then it goes into shutdown mode. And then there's the literal end of it all. Just like anything, there's a way to determine different patterns of cycles in time. And when we have those insights, that knowledge, well, we can look at and see what time it is. I want to give you the quotes. What time it is? Well, it's time for change, ladies and gentlemen. This is written about in the Hopi lore. This is written about in the Vedic culture. It's written about in the Bible. It's written about in all kinds of ancient texts and all kinds of ancient writings. And here we are now. Even there's another wonderful channel I didn't talk about, but there's a channel named Jacob Israel, and he mentioned something about the AI, an AI Jesus and an AI Buddha. And after they poured in thousands and thousands and thousands of texts for this computer basically to have access and refer to, and it can make and predict assumptions based on the information prior. This is what mathematics does. I'm sure lots of other topics. And boy, it's talking about a lot of negative predictions. So let's be clear though, these predictions are interpretations. And oftentimes what I've seen, like in 2012, December 21st, 2012, was supposed to be the end of the world. It was the end of an era, beginning of a new one. And this is what we see all the time. End of a chapter, there's a new chapter. End of a book, there's a new book. So let's be mindful that there's always going to be something that moves on. Energy is not created nor destroyed. There's some interesting thoughts to ponder and then start having discussions on. What am I doing? I'm giving you information to begin to crack what you've been told to believe so that you can begin to ask better questions, look at new information, have open ears, an open heart, an open mind. With having the ability to look at and discern information, test information, not just take it on and say, yeah, that's the truth. That may set you up for some problems in the future. So when we talk about love, we speak about love, we start looking in kindness, with kindness, looking for joy, coming from joy, looking at patience, coming from patience, and this is for yourself, towards yourself, as well as for others. All right, I laugh kind of funny because life is like a mirror, as within, so without, as above, so below. There is something to be said about all of those type of principles. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm Dr. Kevin Gyurina. This has been Transformation Tuesday. Yes, it's Monday night based on a normal traditional calendar. How do I say normal traditional? The Gregorian calendar, because if you go back, there's other calendar systems. There's other ways of looking at time in life. And I invite you to consider that what we've been told may not be the reality in which the rest of our world has been operating on. Blessings, best regards. Go to drkeving.com. Get access to, there's so many resources there. And what are these resources for? Helping you become empowered, to help you transform, to help you learn that winning in every situation does happen, and to live that vision that's in your heart. I'll see you next time. I'm Dr. Kevin.